content area standards from the Pennsylvania website, directly from the PDE SAS portal, you can actually learn all you need to know about the standards. I'm going to skip the table of contents and take you directly to learning how to read the actual numbers of the standard. There are several different standards within the secondary system for the sciences. And when reading the standards, we're concerned with these numbers right here. These numbers tell us a lot of things. Let's start with the beginning. 3 indicates that it's science. The 1 indicates that it's the biological sciences. The 10 represents the grade level, and this is the descriptor. So, this first box indicates that by the 10th grade, students should understand the biological science concept that there are common characteristics of life to all living things. Likewise, by the time they get to 12th grade, notice the 12, they should be able to relate changes in the environment to various organisms' abilities to compensate using homeostatic mechanisms, meaning that organisms change based on several things that happen to it during the course of its lifetime, and those can be passed on to further offspring. But now that we have the grade level down and what is expected by each grade level, we secondly look at this letter in the middle. This letter in the middle states that B is the biological sciences that have descriptors directly for biological science. C represents chemistry. Therefore, in a chemistry class, any descriptors that appear here are taught in chemistry to help support this concept, which comes from here. Finally, P represents physics. Once again, it says up here biology, chemistry, and physics. So those 3 letters indicate what that means according to how these subjects can teach this concept. And then finally, what the students need to know by 12th grade. So reading a standard is that simple. The next thing to know when reading a standard is that there's not just one descriptor. The first content area is the common characteristics of living things. Then you'll notice, let's go down to the clear-cut standards. Okay, 3.1a, organisms and cells. 3.1a, there's biology, there's chemistry, there's physics, and there's the 12. So you can see in the real set of standards, there's your 10th grade that all students, there's the 10th grade descriptor all students need to know. There are 3 descriptors for common characteristics of living things. There's 1 descriptor for chemistry, so the chemistry teacher probably needs to know that they have to teach that concept. And if they're science, they should be exposed to those standards. Now, if we're talking about a different subject area, like math, this will be 10 for what grade level. Then this could be Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry, because those are the 3 core math subjects that are required for high school graduation. So, reading a standard is that simple. Subject area, discipline within the subject, course, and descriptor. In this second part of our video, we're going to take a look at how to identify exactly what standards we're going to be teaching in our class. So I'm going to continue with looking at the biological sciences. Now, in this spreadsheet that I've created and sent to all of you, on the first page there's a click for the standards. Now, it's very simple. All you do is highlight the standard that you are teaching in your course, copy and paste it right into that section. Then all you have to do is copy and paste each of the descriptors and place them directly in that box. So, for example, the first strand has 3 descriptors, and we're going to put all 3 of them in there. So now we have identified the 3 most important things we need to get across to our students from that first standard. Then simply go to the second standard. Once again, scroll down. This one's got quite a few. I know it's a little bit tedious, but it's very important in part of this process. This is probably the easiest part, the copying and the pasting. A lot of questions will always come up, well, this is rote, and why do we do this when it's in Rubicon Atlas? Well, Rubicon Atlas is just a tool. It's a tool to take what you already have in your curriculum, and basically you do the same. You copy and paste it in there, but to be honest with you, Rubicon Atlas cost us about $20,000. We're not sure if that's annually or every 2 years, but by doing it this way, no matter what tool we decide to use, the curriculum is always in place and there's no charge to the district, so we can funnel that money into things that are more important. Essentially, you're going to go through and you're going to copy and paste all of the things that you must teach into your spreadsheet. If you would like a shortcut, you just hit the Control V button. Control and V as in Victor at the same time, and it will paste it in that spot for you. Just make sure you highlight the right one so that it doesn't ruin what you've already copied or pasted. Okay. It's easy to see exactly what standards you're going to be teaching. Alright, here's how easy it is. We've already taken the time to print out or copy and paste our standard numbers all the way down. Now we know exactly everything that we're covering in our course. The second step is to identify the objectives or the measurable objectives that we're going to be assessing our students on. So, I've taken the first one, describe the common characteristics of life, and I've made 4 different objectives for that one required standard descriptor. The student is going to be able to identify the 7 characteristics of living things. They're going to be able to do this, this, and this, and thus I will be able to create an assessment to measure those things. The number of questions that I have covering these will all depend on several different factors we'll discuss later that's found in the assessment handbook given by the state. So, once again, your job today is to write down all of your required standards, copy and paste all of your required standards into the spreadsheet, and pick one standard. And then for every descriptor in that standard, I want to see measurable objectives.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.